With Midjourney, you can have some influence over the composition of your picture, while specific types of compositions like asymmetrical, off-center, unconventional, or using the golden ratio may be a bit tricky. You can still effectively control the shooting angle. Let's check out some examples that work well. You can use this prompt template: imagine prompt, composition, portrait, or shot. In practice, it might look something like close up portrait of a beautiful woman. Let's create a permutation prompt which you've learned from a previous lesson to show various composition prompts with which you can experiment with. Close up creates a tight image focusing on the subject or a part of it. Extreme close up, an even tighter focus on the subject, highlighting specific details. Extreme wide captures a broad view, often setting the subject in a larger context. Full body shot displays the entire body of the subject within the image frame. Bird eye shot, an overhead view as if looking down on the subject from a bird's perspective. High angle shot, the subject is viewed from above, creating a sense of being small or vulnerable. Low angle shot, the subject is viewed from below, making it appear dominant or powerful. Over the shoulder shot, the shot is taken from behind a person's shoulder, typically another subject focusing on the person or object in front. Profile view shot, the subject is seen from the side, offering a different perspective. Back view shot, the subject is viewed from behind, often creating a sense of mystery or anticipation. Don't forget, all the compositions can be found in the document or ebook attached to this course. It provides a straightforward comparison with visual references. These prompts can help guide Midjourney in creating the type of composition you want for your image. Happy experimenting! With Midjourney, you've got the power to simulate almost every special effect from photography. Let's look at some examples which might inspire you to experiment with other popular effects. Remember, the internet is a vast resource where you can find plenty of inspiration. The before and after prompt enables you to produce striking images that showcase the transformation of a subject. For example, let's replace the subjects with day and night keywords. Now let's use the keyword chiaroscuro. Chiaroscuro is an art technique used to create a strong contrast between light and dark to add depth and volume to an artwork. It's a way to make a two-dimensional painting or drawing appear three-dimensional. The term comes from the Italian words chiaro, meaning light, and scuro, meaning dark. Now, the cutaway diagram keywords in the prompt are great for those who enjoy illustrated children's encyclopedias. This prompt lets you strip away layers from 3D objects to show and explain what's inside. The double effect prompt is perfect for creating a transparent ghostly effect by layering two images over each other with different exposure levels and less than full opacity. To achieve this effect, you can use two subjects separated by commas and the keywords double exposure. The glow in the dark prompt is perfect for creating a space-like or science fiction atmosphere by utilizing the blacklight effect. You may want to use the version 4 model for this effect. The tilt shift prompt is excellent for creating an illusion where the real world scene appears as a miniature model. The long exposure prompt is ideal for capturing stunning images in low light conditions or to emphasize motion in night photography. To achieve this effect, just use keywords like long exposure or night photography. In this prompt, you might notice some unusual numbers that play a crucial role in creating the long exposure effect. If they seem confusing, don't worry. In our next lesson, I'll break down what these numbers mean, helping you to better understand their role in photography. So, I've shown you some examples, but remember, there is a whole universe of photographic effects you can play with. Don't hesitate to seek out other popular effects and give them a try with Midjourney. You're limited only by your imagination. These prompts open up diverse ways to apply special effects to your images, so have fun exploring these possibilities and seeing what you can create. In the previous lesson, we learned about some amazing effects used in photography, and in the last prompt, we encountered some unusual numbers that generated a nice long exposure effect for us. In this prompt shown here, you can see similar numbers, but now they are not being used to create a long exposure effect. Instead, they are being used for capturing a group of hikers in the Swiss Alps. These numbers might seem familiar to professional photographers, but for beginners, this lesson is a must-watch. In order to understand these numbers, we will be diving into the heart of photography by exploring a core concept, the exposure triangle. Understanding this will equip you with the skills needed for 80% of photography. The exposure triangle consists of three components: ISO, shutter speed, and aperture. These three settings control the amount of light that enters your camera lens and are interrelated. Let's understand each one. In the bottom right corner, we have the ISO, and it's all about light sensitivity. Think of ISO as the eye of your camera. The higher the ISO number, the more sensitive your camera's eye is to light. But here is the catch. Too high an ISO introduces grain and noise, causing your image to lose quality. So in the ideal world, keep the ISO low. Think ISO 100 in bright outdoor light, 200 in the shade, and 400 to 1600 when indoors. In the top corner, we have the aperture. This refers to the size of the opening in your lens, and it works a bit like your pupils, expanding and contracting based on the light. A larger f-stop number indicates a smaller opening and less light intake, while a smaller f-stop signifies a larger opening and greater light intake. Aperture also controls depth of field, meaning the area of your shot that remains in focus. Lower f-stops like f/2 provide a shallow depth of field ideal for portrait shots. Higher f-stops like f/22 offer a wider depth of field suitable for landscapes. Don't worry about the units measured in f-stops, it's a complicated math thing. In the bottom left corner, we have the shutter speed. This is the duration your camera's shutter stays open, which ranges from a fraction of a second to several seconds. Shutter speed is your tool for managing motion blur. A fast shutter speed can freeze action, while a slower one can create dreamy long exposure effects. For a crisp portrait shot, aim for 1/250 to 1/550 of a second. For moving subjects, go faster. So how would we adjust these settings for the perfect shot in the real world on your camera? The first step is to adjust your ISO according to your scene. Remember, the goal is to maintain the ISO at the lowest possible level. Next, you will set your aperture. This depends on your subject. If you have multiple people in the shot, a higher aperture is ideal. Finally, you will determine the shutter speed based on how much motion blur you're aiming for. It's all about finding that balance for the perfect shot. There are essentially two scenarios in which you may need to troubleshoot your settings. Either the image is too dark or it's too bright. Let's troubleshoot together. Is your image too dark? Slow down your shutter speed, but not to the point of blurring the image. Lower your aperture if you don't need a broad depth of field. Increase your ISO as a last resort, but be mindful of the potential noise. Is your image too bright? Lower your ISO first, since you have ample light. If needed, speed up your shutter. As a last step, raise your aperture if the shot isn't a close-up portrait. And that's it. These foundations account for 80% of photography. Understanding these three concepts and how they interact will empower you to take fantastic photos and troubleshoot any issues. Remember, your knowledge of the exposure triangle also brings the Midjourney prompts to life, granting you even more control over your art. We have still got more to learn, but this forms the solid base on which we can build. Happy shooting! After our last session, you are now equipped with the basics that make up 80% of photography. Awesome, right? But there is still a little more to uncover. Now we look into the remaining 20% that can make your pictures go from great to fantastic. Remember our Swiss Alps hikers example? You might have seen a camera model mentioned in there. It's not just a random detail, it's a key piece of the puzzle that can influence your final result. If you want a certain style of picture, telling Midjourney which camera model or film type you like can really help. You can also add details about the lens to change how your picture looks. Try different sizes like 18mm till 200mm. Lower sizes are great for wide open pictures like landscapes, while bigger sizes are good for close-ups or portraits. If you find a lens brand that you like the results of, you can add that in too. Inside the course materials, you will discover a document that provides a comprehensive list of various camera and lens types, descriptors, and other settings for you to explore and experiment with. Now let's dive into some examples. We will use the style raw parameter to reduce the influence of the default Midjourney aesthetic. This works well for greater control over your image, particularly for a more photographic look. The FK Vista 200 film type is known for delivering bright and sharp images in photography characterized by great contrast and saturation. It can enhance the overall aesthetic of your image, making it an excellent choice for photography. If you want to replicate the aesthetics of 19th century monochrome film, you might want to use the daguerreotype blade. This type of film creates black and white images that mimic the look of pictures taken on a coated copper plate. Professional photographers love using Kodak Gold 200. Why? Because it's great at capturing warm and natural skin colors, has a fine grain, and gives bright, vibrant colors. This film type is known for its excellent quality, making it a favorite choice in the professional photography world. The Fujifilm Pro 400H is a super flexible film type that works great for taking photos both inside and outside. Because it's so good in different lighting situations, it gives photographers a lot of room to play with. It's often the go-to choice for big commercial projects and photo shoots with models. This was just a quick rundown of how you can use more photorealistic detail in your Midjourney prompts. Always remember, the more specific you are, the better and more accurate your image will be. To further improve your results, you could even add the name of a photographer from our document linked to this course. If they are known for the style you are aiming for, this could help Midjourney generate the perfect image for you. Enjoy exploring these possibilities. With Midjourney, you can adjust lighting in your images to achieve the visual effects you want. This means you can create unique compositions that really show your personal style. Now let's check out some examples with this permutation prompt. The imagine prompt could be like this: a portrait of a beautiful woman with backlighting, side lighting, contrasting lighting, light and shadow from window blinds, soft lighting, cyan and peach lighting, sun lighting, top lighting, red light, studio lighting. Also, don't forget that the time of day can have a big impact on your image. In the document linked to this course, you will find suggestions like golden hour, high noon, and many more. Each time of day offers a unique lighting condition that can enhance the mood of your photo. Another key aspect to think about is the use of flash. Again, in the document you will find examples of different flash types like on-camera flash and external flash. Flash can help brighten your photos, particularly in low light conditions. It can also add a touch of drama. Using flash at night, for example, you can create a halo effect around your subject's hair. Lastly, if you're looking to create professional studio-like images, consider specifying types of studio lights such as cinematic or dramatic. Remember, experimenting with these different lighting conditions and types can greatly help in achieving your desired visual effect. So feel free to mix and match until you find what works best for you. We've already explored different camera and film types, but let's not overlook lens types. Lenses can significantly change how your picture looks by altering the perspective, depth of field, and distortion levels. Midjourney supports different types of lenses, offering you a wide range of choices to experiment with. Let's break down a few lens types that you can experiment with in your prompts with this permutation prompt. Fisheye lens. This lens is known for its wide angle view, creating a unique and sometimes distorted panoramic image. It can add an interesting and dramatic perspective to your photos. Normal lens. This is your standard lens, great for everyday photography. It tends to provide images that closely resemble how the human eye sees the world. Vintage lens. If you're looking to add a touch of nostalgia or old-fashioned aesthetic to your images, try using a vintage lens. It can provide a soft focus and unique color tones, giving your photos a distinctive look. Pinhole lens can create dreamy, ethereal images due to the unique diffraction and infinite depth of field it provides. It's great for artistic or abstract compositions. If you're looking to capture a large scene in a single frame, an ultra-wide angle lens is perfect. It's commonly used for landscapes, architectures, or interior shots. The tip shift lens allows you to control the plane of focus in your image, enabling selective focus and miniature effect. It's popular in architectural and landscape photography. Remember, each lens brings something unique to your photographs. Don't hesitate to experiment and see which lens type works best for your creative visions. Midjourney has the capacity to create various kinds of portrait images, each with its own unique characteristics and charm. Let's delve deeper into this topic and check out a few examples. Let's again use the permutation prompt to generate the images. The headshot portrait is a close-up image that captures the subject's face and expressions. Or a full-body portrait where the subject's entire body is in the frame, allowing for a more comprehensive capture of body language and posture. There are also candid portraits where the subject is captured in natural, unposed state, often resulting in a more authentic and lively picture. Environmental portraits are another type, placing the subject within a specific environment or setting that adds context to their story. And let's not forget conceptual portraits, where the image is used to communicate a specific idea or concept, often using symbolic elements or creative props. These are just a few examples. Midjourney is incredibly flexible, allowing you to experiment and create the kind of portraits you envision. Give it a try and see what unique portrait images you can generate. You can find more examples in the document linked to this course. Thanks to Midjourney version 5, making real-looking photos is a lot easier now. Get the best photos, start with a clear idea in your mind. Gender, age, clothes, background light, and other things you want in your photo. You can also use an image as a reference to get similar images. Here are some keywords that can help you make beautiful photos. The document will be linked to this course. Remember to include important keywords like photorealistic and use as many details as you can. The more specific you are, the better the outcome of your generated image. At the time of this recording, if you're using Midjourney version 5.1 or later, I strongly suggest incorporating the new Style Raw parameter into your prompts. This bypasses the artistic Midjourney style and delivers more realistic images.